Welcome, guys, back to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Wright. Today we are welcomed with Mr. David Ratel. How we doing, man?
Doing great. Doing great. What about you?
I'm blessed, excited to have you on here. You're my first guest from France. I've had UK, Russia, Australia, never from France. So I'm excited.
I get it. I get it. I would be excited too.
Making history today, at least for the
Exactly.
podcast.
Exactly.
Before we get into the questions, is there any social medias that you want to let the fans know where to find you, or maybe upcoming
Yeah.
events?
So I have Instagram. It's David Ratel Real. So like the real one.
Okay,
I also have like Twitter. You can find me same name, and you can find me on Facebook, David Ratel. And
okay,
that's pretty much it. No
sounds
TikTok. I'm not this kind of guy.
simple. I like it. Um, we are the I Love Wrestling podcast, so I'm going to ask you the first question. When did you find wrestling and fall in love with wrestling?
Uh, I felt in love with wrestling when I was quite young. I was like maybe five or six. I was looking TV and just like, changing channel. And at the time we had wrestling on the TV, like we had WWE, of course. And yeah, just start watching. And then the week after, because that was like once a week, I start watching again. And the week after watching. And little by little it became like kind of a goal to do wrestling. And nowadays I'm blessed to be able to just wrestle as much as I can.
Definitely. Who were some of your favorite superstars growing up?
Oh, Rey Mysterio.
Ray?
Yeah,
Good.
of course.
What?
It was like that kind of, so I've never been really tall as a person. And I wasn't tall at all when I was a kid. I was pretty small in size. And like seeing that guy that was way smaller than any other wrestlers being able to still defeat monsters, that what put me in actually. So I was like, hey, that's cool. Even when you're like not that tall, you can you can do something with wrestling. And
Do
that's
you
how I fell in love with wrestling.
do you have a favorite Rey Mysterio match?
Man, that's hard. Oh, there is so many. I could not say one. Like
Okay.
I have so many.
I know it's probably like the one least likely to maybe be picked. But I really enjoyed Sean and Ray at SmackDown. I think it was like in 2009, but they redid the super kick that Sean did with Shelton Benjamin with Ray. I always
Yeah, that
loved that.
well, you have two legends in the ring, so
Yes. It's a
you can
great match.
you can't yeah, you cannot go wrong with that one. So
And then anytime Ray and Eddie got in the ring, it was magic.
yeah. I
Uh,
remember I remember like one of the match that I have the most in mind about Rey Mysterio is not the best one, but it's the one with John Cena
okay.
when Ray earned the title.
Yes.
And then there is that backstage promo where everybody is using like champagne and beer to like
The
put it
shower name with it.
yeah, the shower of champagne. And there is just John Cena coming and being like, hey, and that's one of the biggest memory I have. I don't know why exactly, but that promo is something that stick to my mind when I'm thinking about Rey Mysterio. That was really good time. That was all time. I
Did
remember I was on my mother bed at the time
mhm.
watching like so she had a TV on her room and I was looking at the TV there and I was try like learn to do keep ups and doing moves on like pillows and stuff. So that
Yeah.
was that was really good time.
Did you a lot of fans have a time period where they fall out of love or go away from wrestling. Did you ever have a time period where you stepped away from it?
Yeah, so basically for a long time we didn't have wrestling anymore on French TV.
Okay.
So yeah, at that period of time, I didn't watch as much because I discovered internet pretty late, and because like at the time, parents don't want you to go on internet and stuff. So yeah, I discovered pretty late internet. So there were a big time period of time when I didn't watch wrestling for maybe like 4 years. So and I started watching again when I was 16. So yeah.
What made you come back?
Well, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be like a wrestler, doing wrestling and all and stuff. And then I saw one day there is so at the time I was doing improvisation theater,
Okay.
and I discovered that there was doing some kind of a show mixing wrestling and improvisation theater. And I was like, hey, just let me go watch. So there is wrestling in France. I was like, I might give it a try. And I just try and fell in love with wrestling again. So I was like, okay, I'm doing it. I just do wrestling and I see.
Okay. What made you decide to start wrestling, like start actually training?
I was like I think what made me start train was I always had that I always wanted to try first, and then I try one or two like I do one or two trainings, sorry. And I was like, hey, that's actually pretty fun. Let's try to do more and more and more. And I finished by completely falling in love and wanted to be in front of an audience. I've always wanted to be in front of an audience since I'm a child. So I've done some theater and stuff. So yeah, that's the fun, like the fun I had from wrestling, from training in wrestling. That's what stick me in, keep going in that way. And then like discovering wrestling again, seeing what I can do, what's work, what's don't work. That's being in front of an audience also. That's how I fell in love with wrestling again. Actually, that's more doing than watching.
Okay. What was it like for you finding the right training facility in France?
So now wrestling start to be like indie wrestling start to become bigger in France from my point of view. Um, there is more and more company there is more and more yeah wrestling company and stuff and
Okay.
more more schools too. But at the time, that was really it was because it was in my city. That was pretty rare to find a good wrestling school, and I started in a pretty small one, but they teach you well the basis of wrestling. So yeah, I'm pretty blessed to start in that promote that to start learning in that school, and
Okay.
that was really the only one around. So the closest one was like 3 hours from where I was living at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did you train before you got to make your debut match?
So I trained for a year. I really wanted to wait to be sure to do something in front of before doing something in front of an audience.
Yeah.
And also, so there is a okay. This is some lore right there. There is also a story when I was supposed to start in a rumble, but for not good enough grading at school, I did not start in that rumble because the mother was like, "No, you don't do it until you have good grades." So like, okay, so well, next time. Yeah, that's some. Yeah, that's some funny story.
How did the promoter feel that your grades wasn't good enough for you to
It was
wrestle
like
in the
work
Rumble?
better so you can be in front of an audience.
That's
He was
funny.
doing with my mother. That was horrible. I felt so bad that time.
That's funny though.
Yeah, it is.
Um, I know we talked about it a little bit off camera, but where did you get the name uh Ilios for your first character?
So I I'm still a bit, but I used to be someone who overthink a lot of um of things, and I had some hard time to find name, like to find a first wrestling name, and so I decided to.
Might have lost you again. There we go. We're back.
So yeah, so I took a name, like a random name from Greek mythology, because that was something I have an interest in at the time.
Okay.
And hey, Ilios was god of sun, so I was like, that's a pretty cool name. And then I discovered that was also a whole Rikoshi name, so I was like, okay, well, maybe that's a sign to start with that one, and I could still change later, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk us through what was going through your mind the night you won the NWC title in 2021.
Wow, that's so NWC is actually the promotion I start with and also the school I start with. So it felt it felt good. Like it was, how can I say that? Like I fought pretty hard to have that title, and I managed to, you know, get it and keep the title for quite some time after that. Like I think that's a year, something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel really great. That was the first title I had, and I hope not the last. But yeah, that was a really that was some kind of achievement for the at least for that promotion. Now I'm heading for other kind of promotion. If I have another shot for that title, I will, and I will do whatever it takes to having that title back. And but I also look for other prestigious title now. So yeah, that was really good, but it's not enough. I need more. I need more fight, more opportunities. I need to show the world what I can do. You know,
Definitely. Did did it feel good to like have the locker room and the like promotion behind you?
it feels good to have the yes, but it feels even better to have the audience behind me.
Okay.
I would say
Yeah.
that's even more the audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite defense during your title reign?
Um, I had a triple threat with other wrestler, like two other wrestlers. One is named Aigle Blanc, which is one of the best French wrestler now, in
Okay.
my opinion. And I had against another one, a guy named at the time named Tristan Archer,
Okay.
who's now sadly not, for some reason, not in the business anymore.
Okay.
Like, I think you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And he was a whole WWE guy. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic, and
Okay.
he has been in NXT UK. So that was really
Okay.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
At the time, he was WXW champ.
Okay.
So being
That's
able
really cool.
to keep my title against those guys, that was
It's
a really big step. Learned a lot from
definitely.
that fight. Learned a lot.
Um, Later on after you dropped the NWC world title, yourself and Leon win the tag titles at NWC. What was it like for yourself and Leon to win those titles together?
So Leon was one of the guys that trained me.
Okay.
He was one of the guys who gave me the like my first bumps and my first training. So that was a big step in the relation we had at the time.
Hmm.
Uh, Fun fact, I had that title the same day I lost the other one. So for really short period of time, like one show time. I was the first and only double champion of that promotion,
Okay, that's
and
cool.
that creates, yeah, that's definitely gives some kind of a dynamic to someone I was already respecting for make me learn a lot of things about wrestling.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you have a favorite tag title defense?
Well, actually, let me think. We actually didn't have a title defense because after
No?
that I've moved to Black and Brave,
Okay.
and so the direction, like the direction, like the CEO of NWC, uh, decided to take back the title because
Okay.
I was out for like 3 months, 4 months doing the Black and Brave wrestling school. So we didn't have a chance to. We were supposed to defend the title on a show that was canceled for um due to like the room where the show was supposed to happen just collapsed. Like the roof
Okay.
of the place just collapsed because of storm,
Okay.
and so they never give us another opportunity. I had to move for the Black and Brave, and so we lost the title without having the opportunity to defend it. Sadly, that's kind of a regret, but that's life. Sometimes shit happen.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. What what was your experience like coming to America and going to Black and Brave?
Well, that was really interesting. Like I had to like how can I explain that? That was different to see that there is that much wrestling in the United States.
Hmm.
There is opportunities everywhere. I feel like doing wrestling in Europe, to be able to have as much booking as possible, you have to be really, really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not everybody has a place in Europe, I would say.
Okay.
Well, there is less place available, definitely, on the shows. Here, you can have in the same weekend, like in the same city, three different shows.
Yeah.
So it's it's a it's way easier to be able to show people what you can do and how good you are. I would say that's and like for the first 4 months I stayed in the US last year, I didn't do that much wrestling because I just focused on the program for the 3 months. And on the last month, I spent 2 weeks in Canada, 2 weeks in the US, and I had like two matches, something like this.
Okay.
And this time I stayed 3 months and I had every single weekend bookings.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say that's really different from Europe. That's the the audience is also different. They don't look for the same kind of thing. But that's interesting. That's interesting to be able to improvise and to, adapt to another audience. Yeah.
What's like the biggest differences between maybe a French audience and an American audience?
Mm, in some promotion, like, hmm, I would say what they're looking for in the match, what kind of story they want us to bring in the match.
Okay.
I feel like I may be wrong. That's a personal feeling I have. Here, it's more a question of bad and good, like
Okay.
all white or black, where it's more gray era in
I
Europe.
see.
That's
I see.
that's a personal feeling I have. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's for the 3 months I spent here. That's what I feel like.
Okay. And So, like for this tour of the United States, you've been all over the place. I've seen like uh, your Instagram stories where you've been in Chicago, you've been in Iowa. I believe you made a trip to West Virginia
Yeah.
uh, and the Carolinas, I believe.
Mm.
What have you noticed, like maybe a difference in audiences throughout the U.S.?
Not really. I'm not sure. So I didn't like saw a big difference,
Okay,
but maybe I didn't spend enough time to. Like, I might be able to answer better this question next time I come in the US to do
okay,
wrestling,
yeah,
and I next time I spend more time. Uh, I would say it's more a question of a promotion will have this kind of audience. Another one will have another kind of audience. There is like a lot of audience where it's like smart fan. Some others it's more like kid friendly audience. And it's really depend it's really depend on which promotion you wrestle for.
okay,
So yeah. And I think every audience look for something different. You just have to figure out what they're looking for
yeah,
and do your best to give them what they want.
definitely. Why did you decide to change your name to David Rattle?
So I lost the name during in a feud with a promotion in France.
Okay,
So basically, what happened is so that was a promotion I wrestled for. I wasn't on their main on their first shows, and for time they decided to put me not in the in the main shows anymore. And I felt like that was kind of disrespectful regard in the regard of what I the time I give them and all the work. And they decide like, and when I came back from Black and Brave, they gave me opportunities in the main show again, and that was kind of a hypocrite, you know.
okay,
So I was like, okay, well, um, let's talk about it to the audience, let them know that's something wrong in that promotion. And at the end, the CEO of the promotion decided to make me have a wrestling match, another guy in a hardcore match, and basically the one. So that was kind of a carrier against carrier, you know. And but he says something like the way he said it was more name against name.
okay,
So when I lost that match, I was like, okay, now I lost. Sadly, I lost the match, and I was like, okay, I lost. So now I have to find a way to be able to still do wrestling without needing the old name because I don't own it anymore. And that was quite hard. I'm not gonna lie, that was quite hard. And I thought about, when I was a child and I was in school, I was kind of bullied at the time because I was a bit different, not that tall. I was like, I kind of want something strong. So I thought about animals and stuff. And Ratel is the French for honey badger.
okay.
And the honey badger is a small animal that's actually able to like lions and big, way bigger animals. So I was
Definitely.
like, I kind of like that image of the honey badger. And then David is for David against Goliath.
Okay.
And so David Ratel is the new name because it's basically what I want to be. And it's basically, even if something is bigger than me, I will fight. Even if something is so big that nobody believe I can do it, I will still try to do my best to get through it. So when I lost the first name that I had for quite some time, then I built all my career around it. I was like, I have to find something stronger, something that give a message of, hey, I don't give a damn that you got me a first time. I will come back, and I would not stop. So that's it.
Like
That's that's the whole story of the new name, you know.
Okay. So far you've been in the US for how many months now?
I arrived in the US in January.
Okay. What's your time been like this go around in the United States so far?
What do you mean? Like,
Like what's the experience been like for you? Have you enjoyed it? Um, like what are some of the promotions that you've had the most maybe fun at? Things like that.
yeah. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that first trip. That first trip was also the opportunities for me to find who David Ratel was, who David
Okay.
Ratel is, sorry. Um, it's an opportunity to start again something because I lost my name right before coming in the US. I plan on coming as Elios because I was pretty sure I would win the fight against Jacques Sonon, which is the other guy I fight and I lost the name on. And I have to find out really quick how what the new character will be and like what what the new me will be, you know. And so that was really a lot of thing. Try to figure out what work, what don't work, what the audience look for, what they not. And if I had to talk about promotion, yes, AAW of course is a big one. SCW too. There, this is the promotion I wrestle the most for around here. So
Okay.
yeah, I would say both those promotion. I can't wait to like I can't wait to work for them again. Sadly, I would not have any other opportunity for AAW right now, but I expect next year to be back and wrestle for them again.
Sounds good. Last question. What are some of your goals for the rest of 2025?
So my goal for 2025, I kind of would like to wrestle in Germany. I never
Okay.
did. I did England, Belgium, France, United States for the moment. Never do Germany. So I plan on wrestle somewhere in Germany and being able to, like wrestle as much for them as possible. There is also another goal is there is a French promotion called BZ Zone Wrestling. That's I really love to work for them. I've already worked 2 times for them, and I'm really hoping to be more uh to work way more for them. And if I could be on all of the BZW shows, I would love to.
Okay.
And yeah, that's for 2025. That's kind of it. Maybe yeah, yeah, Germany. If I could move a bit to Italy, that would be really great too.
Okay.
And BZW, and I would like to have a shot for a title somewhere too.
Okay. I like it.
That's it. Yeah,
Thank you, David. I really did enjoy having you on here. I know we did at the beginning of the show, but would you like to let the fans know once again maybe what your social medias are, just in
yeah,
case they missed it
cool.
at the beginning?
So you can find me on Instagram, David Ratel Real, like the real one, with
Okay.
the with David Ratel and Real. There is like um,
Underscore?
the number 8 on the on the pad.
Oh, I got you.
I don't know the name. What is that? What is that in English?
Uh, it's like the pound sign, the little
It's
star
like
thing. Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
you can find me on Facebook, David Rattle, and
Okay,
same for Twitter, like X.
okay.
Same.
Gotcha. Uh, David, thank you. Like I said, if you want to come on next year, maybe when you're in the middle of your tour again, I'd love to have you back on. We can catch back up.
Of course. I would love to.
Definitely. I'll leave it at see you soon, David.
Yeah, see you soon.